Hey, this is Tabby Cat on Orange Jasm, Lefty Enneagram Project, Enneagram Intros. We're looking at Enneagram 6. This is Natty, and Enneagram 6 is a very important type. One of the most common types, one of the most complex types, a lot of different expressions, very chameleon changing, phobic, counterphobic. So this is called the loyalist, the skeptic, the questioner, the six, lots of different names. The committed, security-oriented type, engaging, responsible, anxious, and suspicious. So this is a type who they're out of touch with their own guidance of what they think, and they kind of oscillate between fear and doubt and cowardice and faith, and this kind of interesting tension of being this utter skeptic. Imagine like anticipating troubleshooting. Imagine Janine Garofalo. No, the war is bad. No, I don't trust you. But at the same time, having this like weird occasional like belief in some Scientological program. There's this tension. Think George Carlin. There's also a sort of big rift at the middle, which is that you have the phobic type that tends to be more conventional, like a Julia Roberts or a Meg Ryan or a Tom Hanks, Jay Leno, and they try to be more congenial. And then you have the counterphobic who, in order not to seem phobic, so the virtue of this type in the Holy Ideas tradition is courage, and their vice and their passion is fear. And their holy idea is faith and strength, and their fixation is cowardice. So like all Enneagram types, people can try to sort of prematurely jump to the sensation because they want to feel security. Their basic fears of being without support and guidance. So this is a mental type that's looking for the support and guidance for a scheme going forward. And their basic desire to have security and support. And this phobicness, people will prematurely leap ahead. So Alex Jones, the 6, he doesn't want to sit with his phobia. He doesn't feel secure, he doesn't feel support, so he jumps to this faith of utter cynicism that gives him support and that he doesn't have to actually feel exposed. Others can be very confrontational and tough. They get confused with 8, the challenger, like a Tupac or LP or Faith on Buffy, just this sort of fighter type, but it still comes from a place of support and loyalty. In the left, George Cigarello Mar, this very tough, hard, but at core wanting to build community, wanting to be loyal, but also this defensive stance and very focused on security. He's very focused on the violence that's done to the community. And the Enneagram with a 5 wing, the investigator, this is the defender. This is, in a light way, I guess they say David Letterman. This is a more thinking, probably more like Cicarello Mar, who also does a lot of critical theory. And 6 with the 7 wing is the buddy, the more like, hey, what's up? 7's this joyous, kind of manic thinking type. This is a really common type in comedy. Everyone from George Carlin on the counterphobic type. I'm tough. I don't feel security from the government, so I'm going to be suspicious of it ipso facto ahead of time. Whereas a phobic might try to get in line. But another phobic would be like Nixon, just super paranoid. But it's still about security, law and order. Key motivations want to have security. They want to feel supported by others, to have certitude and reassurance. I mean, notice Janine Garofalo when she talks about fighting against the invasion of the Iraq War. Even still, when she's complimented, she says, I don't know, I wasn't sure. And how can you anticipate? Think about Corey Pine, News from Nowhere. Michael Brooks showed that he doesn't feel that the people are supported with the system we have, and he's scanning the environment for a source of certitude. And it's an important work to be loyal to the people, to be skeptical, because it's unhealthy to jump into premature faith. And so if you have faith, for example, if you just let your thinking be given over to the 0s and 1s of the code, that's this premature faith that isn't healthy, because out of security and lack of support, you just give in to the system, this loyal system, without questioning. So while questioning and cynicism can be a distortion, it's also necessary for true faith. So it's always this fine line. I mean, Woody Allen goes to this really panicked six, but there can be sixes who are very transcendentally powerful and build community. They're very important for this holy strength and courage, this LP, this Tupac, this George Chicarella Mar, this show of strength and loyalty, and at their heart, they lose their doubt and suspicion and need when they sense essence is real. And it's not essence in an essentialist way, it's in a strength way, that you are not out of touch with your inner guidance. You don't have... I really like George Cicarella Mar's theories from Decolonizing Dialectics, because he talks about not prematurely closing off the teleological, never letting things be teleologically inevitable, never having a dialectic that colonizes with absolutism, always leaving the openness of reality. And this comes from a place of utter faith in strength, utter courage to face without false systems, without illusions, mental illusions of the group, utter strength to be brave for the people, out of loyalty for their security. This is the deep strength of a six. Committed, security-oriented type, reliable, hardworking, responsible, that deep loyalty, trustworthy, always building community, always thinking about, Corey Pine says, I patronize all the MR crew, they're always scanning the opinion of the world. What does he believe? What does he believe? They're scanning for who's the right team. They need to feel secure, and they can get ossified, right, about who's good and bad. Think about Jon Stewart trying to... well, they're stupid in this boring cynicism. Or think about Jimmy Dore and how he says courage, courage all the time. But his only true faith is in his cynicism, but it gets ossified. I was thinking of something else that was interesting, but I forget. Foresee problems, foster cooperation, but they can become defensive, evasive, anxious, running on stress while complaining about it. They can get cautious and indecisive. So this is think about this not wanting to close off of reality, this constant, for Cicarella Mar, this constant decolonizing of every possible identity, and not closing off. This comes from courage and strength, right? But it could fall into neurosis where you prematurely say you can't trust anything, right? It can get paranoid, but there's also interesting ways in which there's a deep belief, right? Like Mar with Venezuela and communism, or Pine, he between this sense of doubting the CEOs but also this sense of belief in some weird way in security. The scientists are studying it, and what does this guy say, and what does the US government say, and what does the UK government do, and then this weird, maybe it's totally this metaphysical thing, and these fixations on doubt and faith, right? Also Corey Pine thinking about Antifa, and they're looking out, they're foreseeing problems, and so they're this anxious phobic type, but often when a crisis hits, they're totally prepared. I think about how Corey Pine talks about car accidents. I mean, that's important for the community, and trains on the left, we need this. And they have courage and strength in the moment. But they can be defensive, evasive, anxious, running on stress while complaining about it, cautious, indecisive. Ellen DeGeneres is a 6, by the way. Mort Saul, the comedian, how he's always tracing out, when he does the comedy where he puts the charts of the freaking different parties, left, center, right, is the center of each type. This is sort of this thinking check for the community on the right thinking of the people. And so to have courage and strength that's why Cicarella Mar is so interesting. It's this courage and strength to be open, to not prematurely closing off a faith in any one system of thinking, because we can, you get in teams, stupid Republicans, stupid this, Nixon, fuck this group, to give the grace into, you have the strength and the courage in the moment, you have the strength to build community and be smart. Defiant, rebellious, they have problems with self-doubt and suspicion, At their best, internally stable and self-reliant. This is why the people. Think to the essence and strength of the people. Ana Tijoux, the rapper in Chile. Somos sur. Yeah? So looking at Ichazo, holy ideas. Key motivations, want to have security, feel supported by others, have certitude and reassurance. They're testing the security of the community. Test the attitudes of others towards them to fight against anxiety and insecurity. Now again, if they're counterphobic, they put on this really hard armor, this George Carlin, this Tupac. They don't want to put the anxiety and insecurity of falling into the wrong system and not having support and faith and prematurely jumping into faith. When moving in their direction of disintegration, when they're stressed, they go to a low 3. They become competitive and arrogant. But what they maybe need is sometimes they can get cynical in a way where they need a connection to the higher, at their highest, their missing piece is this higher hope and image and heart of the 3. They can get too cynical and too tough, kind of, too doubting. 3s are very confident. And their direction of integration, when there is their kind of comfort heart point that helps them grow, is they get more relaxed and optimistic at a high 9, who kind of feels this essential love and is very chill. Who else do they have on here? Mark Twain, Sigmund Freud. Think about how Mart Saul is very, very into Sigmund Freud. J. Edgar Hoover, the crazy paranoid 6. Malcolm X, that defiant, hard for my people 6. Also Oliver Stone. Don't confuse this with an 8, which we'll get to, which is a more guttural, lustful, almost individualist, innocent Trump, Mao, Stalin. The 6 is different. The 6 has a more brittle Malcolm X thing, Oliver Stone. I think that's good for now. Now to finish off, the Holy Idea Statement from Oscar Ichazo, Bolivian, Chilean mystic, worked in the Atacama Desert in the 60s, 70s, whatever, under Allende. The awareness that the cosmos is a self-regulating mechanism. So this is not needing to jump into premature theories because it's already regulated. And think about Ciccarella Mar, building the commune, the democracy of being self-regulating because the people can do it. They have it. That's true democracy. Existing in a state of balance. And as long as the objective laws which govern the balance are respected, an individual can exist in a state of harmony with reality. This is the tuning to the thinking of the people and true strength and harmony with reality without having to be anxious. Moving toward his own personal fulfillment. Faith is a holy idea, not a belief. It is the certitude that each of us has an essence. Now this gets religious or essentialist, and that this essence coming from God belongs to God. Now, this is different from 4 in that 4 is about the connection to the source and essence, but 6, it's the certitude in our own essence, as in our strength as the people. It's this the essence, we have it. We are the Black people, right? Malcolm X, and it can be this the more phobic version can be this kind of more cheesy Meg Ryan thing, Jay Leno, right? This loyalty. But it's a very interesting, very common, very important type, which can look a lot of different ways, because sort of what they're skeptical about, what they're loyal to, moves with their culture. Like 3, 6, 9 are all these middle types that are the fundamental triangle, but they're also always kind of scanning as the middle of the 2, 3, 4. 3 is the middle of the heart. 5, 6, 7. 6 the middle of the thinking. 8, 9, 1 the gut. Cosmos type. 5, 6, 7 thinking, relation between acting and the cosmos. 2, 3, 4 acting. But the point is that if you look at the Enneagram, it's this mathematical thing. And so you have this triangle in the middle, the 3, 6, 9, which are the 3 central. And then there's also this 7 and the others that connect, kaleidoscope around. But 3, 6, 9 mostly just connect to each other. And so it's this sort of central core of the Enneagram. See you next on Enneagram 7.